Hey there, church family. It's been a long season of plenty of changes for all of us. For our work or our search for work, for our families, for our schooling, for our life together as a community. So much has changed in ways that we couldn't have imagined even a year ago, and it will take us all a long time to process the implications of these changes for our lives. January, as I'm sure you've felt, has already been a busy time of celebrations and of church business. Thank you for those of you who have had space or made space to join in those things. Some of those pieces will continue along in the coming weeks, but our real hope and goal for the next little while is to allow us all space to process, space to rest, space to find Jesus at our side, still our friend, still with good ways for us to follow him. There are a couple of opportunities to enter into that story of Jesus more deeply, which we'd like to keep on your radar. The first is that baptism and profession of faith classes are beginning, but there's still time to sign up if you're curious about baptism, or you've been baptized but want to make your faith known publicly in the church, or you just want to spend time learning about what we believe. Then there's an invitation for all of us, as Lent will begin on February 17th. And Lent is a season where we journey with Jesus toward the cross, and we consider what it means to follow Jesus in turning from our own ways and finding new challenges, but also new life in him. It's also important for you to know that at our next session meeting, the elders of Knox Church will be discussing the process that's ahead of us to call a new senior minister to our church. And you're invited to pray for that process and to look forward to hearing more. Once again, we hope that you can find time with us to rest, to pray, to read, and to reflect. You'll see resources to help you do that being shared in various places. There's going to be a resource on our theology of mental health, resources to mark and enter into Black History Month, resources about Lent. We also want to be resources to you ourselves. So if you could use conversation or prayer, please reach out to me, reach out to another member of the pastoral staff, or reach out to an elder, and we'd be glad to have a call and a conversation. As we rest, pray, and reflect together, we trust that God will continue to lead us all and to reveal his good kingdom in our midst.
Hi Knox Church, I am Pastor Nestor Abdon, the pastor for local and global missions. I would just like to give you some updates about key ministry areas under my responsibility. In the area of mission, I would just like to invite you on February 21 at 2 p.m. for a missionary gathering. It's a time for us to get to know our missionaries, and at the same time, I would like us to pray with them. And so join us on February 21. As well, every month, it's a time for us to celebrate missions through our Missions Moment. The Missions Moment is for the purpose of providing you with key mission concerns and also an opportunity for the missionaries to share their mission updates and mission concerns. One of the interesting things that's really happening in our church right now is in the area of international ministry. Every Sunday, we have a time of Bible study. It's a time for the newcomers to get to know Jesus through this Bible study. And so you could join us actually at 9:45 a.m. As well, on Mondays, an interesting thing that's really happening is in our ESL ministry. It's already an online learning platform because of COVID. But at the same time, it allows us to connect with people from all over the world. Do you know that people from Colombia, Chile, Mexico, the Middle East, and Japan are even joining us? So this is already an international gathering. So I would just like to thank our teachers who give their time and gifts and energy for this time of learning and connecting. As well, in the area of community ministries, our way of supporting our vulnerable community members continue through our Grocery Hampers program. Do provide resources that you could share with our community, because this is our way of showing our compassion as a church and as a way of showing our love for people who are struggling. So thank you so much, and I hope that this would be an opportunity for you to get to know our ministries and be connected and be involved. Thank you so much. Blessings.
Hi everyone, my name is Frances and I'm the Interim Children's Ministry Director here at Knox. Over the next few months, while we continue to gather virtually, the Kids Moments will continue to be part of the live stream. You can also find the videos separated later on our YouTube channel in their own playlist if you'd like to refer back to them. If you are a student between grades 6 to 12, we have our Youth Jam game nights over Zoom on the first and third Saturdays of the month. Make sure you're on our weekly Family Ministries email list to receive resources that go along with the Kids Moments, other fun activities, and to stay up to date with anything that might be going on. You can join that email list through the Families page on the Knox website, or you can email me at francis@knoxtoronto.org. I also invite you to join our Knox Toronto Parents page to stay connected with other parents in the Knox community. And if you're already part of that group, I would encourage you to share and post in there and connect together that way. Stay tuned for more information about a family fun time over Zoom in February and a parents' book club in March. And if there's any way I can be helpful for you, please feel free to reach out to me with any suggestions or feedback. Thanks.
Hi, my name is Brandon Davis. I'm the interim worship coordinator here at Knox, and I'm glad to be able to be here to let you know some of what's happening with the worship ministry here. For those of you who are new, the worship ministry is in a transition period in its leadership, as we're currently in between worship pastors. However, session is currently underway in the process of finding a new pastor, and in the meantime, we'll continue to gather every week and worship God together. Looking forward, there are things coming up both culturally and liturgically in the calendar that we're planning around. Culturally, we have Black History Month coming up soon, so we're looking at how to acknowledge that well in our worship. Many of you have likely heard from Sam already. A few of you from me asking for input as well as to how we can do that well. Liturgically, we have Lent and Easter coming up, and it's disappointing that we can't worship together for another Easter, but we're planning ways to make it as a potent time of worship and to celebrate Jesus' death and resurrection well, fully and joyfully despite the distance. And at Knox, the worship in our services is led by a team of volunteer worship leaders, and that's continuing. We'll be continuing to meet monthly, to be formed as worship leaders and to be formed into a community. Previously, our worship pastor led this team, but is now under the joint leadership of Anchao and Christoph Ibrahim. And I do want to take a second to say thank you to those two in this team who are volunteers who have taken on some more responsibility with the worship pastor vacancy. In this season, we'll be working through this book together. The Next Worship by Sandra Maria von Obstal. It's a book about building God-honoring, invitational, multicultural worship. If the subject interests you, or if you're interested in knowing what your worship leaders may be informed by, feel free to check it out. And lastly, I wanted to give a few thank yous to some of the volunteers whose work might not always be recognized. So first, I want to say thank you to the behind-the-scenes tech volunteers, to David Galenzi, Ari Pang, and Matt Engel, who come in on Sundays and run the tech to make these live streams happen, and who have learned a role which sometimes would change every week. All of the Christmas decorations you saw on the live stream, as well as the wonderful decorations on the west side of the building during Christmas, were designed, planned, organized, put up, and even taken down by Thomas Hart. So thank you, Thomas, for all of that. And to Chris Muripapalai, who's the head of the AV team, he's put in a massive amount of work and hours in getting these live streams not just up and running, but making them as great as we can make them with the resources that we have, and continues to do so. So thank you, Chris. Any questions, or if you're interested in volunteering for any role in the live stream, feel free to shoot me an email at brandon@knoxtoronto.org.